All right. Welcome back to the state of real estate. So good to be with everyone. If I was in your Instagram feed a lot last 24 hours, I apologize. Sorry, James.
You were definitely in mine, Jason. I can't, as I every 5 scrolls, there's Jason outside City Hall. It was good. It's good, man.
I don't know if that's an indication of how well Jason's doing or how much of a stalker you are.
Yeah, or what's going on with my algorithm here at the moment.
Right, exactly. Like if you stalk somebody, the algorithm's going to show them to you.
It's the algo because you guys got big followings. I'm small time next to you guys, but
it's good to see you out there, Jason. Really.
Well, the thing is, and I thank you, James. The thing is, it's like we are as an industry under assault, but it's not. The mistake is it's not just our industry. It actually hurts the broader economy, and it hurts the very people that are actually fighting against us at the end. Like that's the interesting thing about all these battles that we're in right now that no one's really appreciating. We're not the avatar for consumer frustration. Well, we shouldn't be the avatar for consumer frustration about things like affordability, or like we are actually on the side of the consumer. It's just these policies that are being put forth are net are hurting the broader economy, and it's not beneficial to us or to our clients either. So I was glad to stand up there yesterday at City Hall. There was a total botched pied-a-terre tax rollout, and someone had to say it. Like, if we didn't do this, if we didn't go yesterday, who else would have been there to speak? So like that's why we have ARA to speak up and to fight for our agents and our customers.
Yeah, fight all the battles nobody wants to fight.
Right.
I will say I've lived in the US 21 years, and I have never really paid attention to the deep politics of government and policies and left or right. But we'll say right now, I've never been more focused, and I've never felt more of an impact by these insane policies. And, now's a time where we do have to step up. We do have to listen, and we do have to try and implement change, because if we don't, it's just going to get crazier and crazier and crazier. So thanks for being a voice. Thanks for standing out there, and thanks for advocating for change, because I think we need it right now.
Yeah, 100%. Like hit that charge, man. Take it out there and let our voices be heard.
Ricky, I was curious what you think of this, because I feel like today so much people it's like almost like tribalism. Like people go back and they look for like teams to be on, and everyone's fighting with each other. And when you do so many amazing things, like I heard your speech at the faith-based conference that you gave recently, which I thought was incredible. I thought it was amazing. Like, do you get pushback in your social or for people who do something like that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, when I started putting that out there pretty strongly, I got a rush of hate. Right. 100%. But it wasn't as much as I thought. And, here's the interesting thing about when you do something like that, or you stand up for something you believe in, what happens is you get some hate, but then you also, for the people that are basically part of your tribe or whatever that belief is, they become even stronger. There's an even stronger connection. So you build a deeper bond with more people, rather than just being a generalist and not really standing for anything and just, throwing ideas out there that really appease everyone and trying to make everybody happy. So it's like, yeah, you can build a big following, but you can go much deeper and have a much stronger relationship with a bigger audience, when you actually stand for something. So yeah, I just finally got to the point. But dude, people like Threads, Facebook, I don't even read the comments anymore because there's so much hate. So much hate. It's wild how much people.
And he's getting hit. He spoke eloquently and beautifully at a faith-based conference, and people were hating on him as a result of that. He just put it out. I mean, that's where we're at. You got to
stand for something, or you don't stand for anything. Right. That's what I learned a long time ago.
Is that not just the world we're living in today? Like we talk about keyboard warriors, sure, but there is so much of a divide, and people, I don't know, I've never seen it quite like the way it is now with the way people talk and speak and opinions and hate. It's actually incredibly sad. It really is when you think about it deep down. It's It's insane. I had somebody recently berate me online for nothing.
Mm.
So I usually ignore it. In this one case, I responded, scheduled a Zoom with this person, and now we've become best friends. They actually apologized and said, her words were, "I am a keyboard warrior, hater."
Yeah.
Like
so you just had like a random hater, and you like, let's hop on a Zoom and talk about it, just like a random person.
Yep, that had a strong opinion, and I just thought, you know what? I'm going to try and get to the bottom of this. She actually apologized profusely. I'm telling you, people, I don't know what it is. People have too much time on their hands. That's all I can say. But
so I apologize. I had technical difficulties. Are we talking about Jason's hair?
Shots fired.
On Threads, there's like this whole thing about my hair. I don't know. Like they got a photo of me, like a weird angle, and they said I'm bald. And I was like, what do you mean? And this was the biggest event. I mean, you know, I got crazy comments, but it was the hair that put me over the edge.
You can do anything to me, just don't mess with my hair.
Jason's getting so much camera time lately that unfortunately the haters are starting to come out with a lot of jabs.
Yeah. They're out
the bigger
there.
you get, the more haters you're going to have, man. You know, and they're going to tell you you're bald. They're going to tell you you're four-eyed. They're going to say, you know, everything you say is dumb, and I can't believe. Like, what are you going to do? But here's the thing: the people that love you, they watch your content quietly. They don't comment. They're just watching it, and they love it. And you don't get that feedback because they don't do anything. They don't like a lot of stuff you guys see. You don't click like on everything that you love. You don't comment on everything that you love. But there's content that you love. There's people that you love that you don't comment and like and stuff on. You see their content, you love it. Same thing with our audiences. We see the hate and we feel like, oh, everybody just hates us. But that's such a small percentage of the people that are watching your content. Like, I don't care who you are, whatever content you put out there, unless you're just like an awful person, there's a huge amount of the viewership that love what you're doing. But people get discouraged because only the haters speak up. Only the haters, right? Very few people want to spread positivity.
Well, when you have haters, it means you're doing something right. That's the reality.
That's true. That's true. But the punchline is like, keep creating. You know, like, keep creating. Don't let the few little haters, you know, like you say, the bigger you get, the more people are going to hate on you. I mean, like, give me some haters. I want some haters.
So knowing that I got stuck in the tech space, tech glitch, did we cover the first topic, or are we still on, where are we? Oh, here we go.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Topic number 1.
All right. So we're talking about national listings, local listings, hot topic, obviously. A couple of very aggressive pieces came out in the last week or so. No surprise, Compass at the forefront. But with new guests, I think I kick it to the rest of the group, and let's see where we go here.
What is the question here?
Well, it's talking about the fact that StreetEasy and Compass, which obviously is a Zillow product, you know, are going cold turkey on each other. They're cutting bait, and so the listings data feed is getting shut off. We're seeing this in a lot of the MLSs.
Well, it's not a listing. Kind of correct. The listing data feed is not. There is no listing data feed. It's agents are manually, individually withdrawing.
Yeah, agents are going to start using it.
Yeah, but there's no data. It's not a data feed. What's happening is individual agents are pulling their listings off of StreetEasy.
Okay, so if they come off of StreetEasy, how are you promoting your listing at that point?
So all of two things. One, in August, it's not an uncommon occurrence for agents to take listings off between the middle of August and Labor Day. Yeah. So to some extent, there really isn't a lot of meat here on the bone. Like, I do that often. We just did it. And we'll be right back on the Tuesday after Labor Day. But in the argument is also that for now, all brokers can find all listings in the RLS, which is our version of the MLS, which is a back-end data feed, on Compass's website, and on agent searches. 80% of all list deals buyers have a broker, so they'll be able to find it. Maybe it's 90%. I don't know what the number is right now in New York City, but it's awfully high. So what is the net harm other than I don't know?
That's what I'm trying to actually figure out. Why? What's the harm here? Why would?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think that it's a show of strength. Compass is an unbelievably strong player, no doubt. And we don't, I think the broader theme is that we don't work for the portals. And I think for a long time, the sense was that as an agent, we did. And I think it's beginning to change.
Keep in mind, this topic is spread out, not just through Compass. You had RealTrax recently do a very similar thing with Zillow and Homes, and they've since renegotiated. I think it's in regards to a variety of different layers of brokers controlling the data, but also benefiting from the data, right? It's not, I think this headline that was just up there is not specifically about private listings. It's more big picture in regards to who should benefit from the data creation and who should control how it's distributed, which is obviously a hot topic. There's no question because of the polarization of everything with Compass. I think that we've seen some misdirection in regards to how it's represented. But the core discussion here is about who should benefit and who should control.
That's right. So is this just a play on that and Compass showing treat easy? You do not hold the control. In fact, we have leverage in numbers, strength in numbers. Is that what I'm reading here?
Mm-hmm.
I think from my point of view, that's kind of what I'm reading. I think that the idea is that, agents, if you go back in time and you look at any other industry, agents should benefit from the data that they create. Right. And right. So I think the core principle, it's all kind of cloudy by the idea of private listings, but I really think at its core, it drives to the fact that MLSs and brokerages should theoretically have more say in the final positioning of a listing. And that's where the dispute lies. Where you stand on private listings specifically, obviously, is its own topic. But I think that private listings is really just a clouded label that's unfortunately not correct in what's actually going on. It's really a fight over data control.
I would tend to agree with that. I think Jason has merit just as an agent myself. We have 600-700 million in listings. I've pulled off 70% of those for the summer just because people are traveling and they're not thinking about buying real estate, and we will relaunch all of those post-summer. So I think the numbers are probably a little skewed for the story.
In
terms
agreed.
of data they're extracting, but I guess the next 8 weeks will be a very big tail sign to see what agents are doing and how they're controlling their data. And is this a street easy Compass thing, or is this just agents somewhere else, as are their clients, and they're pausing for a moment?
I think it's another genius chess move by Robert to do it right at the time when people are taking listings off the market anyway.
Yeah.
Right. To then create a headline, to show power and strength.
Yeah,
it's a pretty genius move.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. He's made a few genius moves.
He's a chess. I bet you he plays chess. I bet you he plays chess all day.
Yeah,
he's just on his phone playing chess with like 8 different people, crushing them.
Well, Eric subtly pushing us to the next topic.
He's
a great
little pushy today, isn't he?
Yeah, where is Eric? Is he hiding?
Hello.
Did he have his
coffee?
I'm just here in the background listening and preparing for the next topic.
What's with your lighting today?
Eric, take us away here. It looks not like a very positive headline.
Well, yes. And following up from last week where we were talking about home sales dropping 1.7%, it's actually worse than what we thought. They've now dropped 2.3%.
Yeah, so that's existing home sales, 1.7%, but existing home sales in July was actually up like almost 1% year over year. So yearly home sales, like we're still like right at even, or if not up just a tad. Pending home sales were down month over month and year over year about 2.5%. We're just taking a breather. Like mortgage rates today are 6.75. It's ridiculous. 10-year treasury was up. Where the market's just taking a breather, man. This is like the hangover from the war and energy prices, and now we've got shelter, CPI for shelter coming down. Now we got to get energy under wraps, and we'll be. But like this thing's just going to take some time to flush out. But it's not like we're down. Like this is a temporary like 2%. Like it's not like we're down 10% and stuff like that. This is nothing to worry about. honestly.
And Ricky, also that number is going to vary wildly, state by state, county by county, submarket by submarket.
Yeah, these are national numbers.
Yeah,
you're going to be skewed dramatically by certain markets.
right.
I'm sorry, guys. You read 10 different articles, you're going to get 10 different opinions.
Yeah.
If you read the headline of the article, it's July. Well, no shit. Everybody's traveling. We just discussed it. People
Right.
now. It's like back to what we started this conversation with. It's the doom and gloom. They want the clicks. They want people to.
They want the clicks.
They want people
I will.
It's noise, in my opinion. It's all
So
noise.
I completely agree that it's all noise. The only thing I will say is that the actual talking point that we're about to go into is the one that I actually, and Ricky, you know this from the last week when we were talking about the headlines and how everything is doom and gloom. And we all know a particular social media personality that's claiming that the market's going to drop by 50% recently. That was a bit of an aggressive statement. But the next topic we're going into is actually home construction. And Eric, if you can switch us to the next one, that one, I have to tell you, actually does surprise me. And for Jason and I in particular, with ARA working on affordability, this stat is a number that we have got to fix. Eric, can we go to the next topic?
Yes, we are on the next topic.
This is the one,
I'm not finding
construction.
the graphic that I originally downloaded. So
No worries.
Take it away. It was a
So-
Bloomberg article.
The key
housing
statistic-
starts were down 12%, right, in July. Yeah.
So I think it was down 12.6%, and that's a real number.
My question for you is, why does that surprise you?
Well, I think that, listen, you have a variety of things that are happening in the housing space right now. One is people are not moving. You can see that in volume drops. You also see very limited inventory, and you see a very high cost of entry because, relatively speaking, the mortgage rates, in the last 10 years are pretty high. Obviously what we saw for COVID when we were looking at 3% rates, and I actually know multiple people that got IOs at 2%, which is just mind-boggling. The fact that you don't have construction booming, it just leads to this freeze, and it also leads to a serious affordability problem because you need units coming online. Right now, major cities like New York City are having a net reduction in inventory online. And what does that lead to? Unfortunately, higher rent. If you just go back to the fundamentals, you need more inventory to be able to house more people, but not just available inventory for purchase. You need more units for, to live in. And that is a real problem. So 12.4%, I actually will say that is not a number that I look at positively. That speaks to me that the country needs to work very, very aggressively to have more units coming online.
Yeah, well, it's a private sector, right? I mean, these guys are doing it for profit, and they don't want to get caught with their pants down with a lot of inventory they can't sell, so they got to regulate what they're doing. But there was a couple of bright spots in there, like the Northeast was up 17%, up.
Yeah.
17% in terms of.
I didn't see that. That's a huge
home
jump.
starts. Yeah, and 62% year over year. And so again, like you guys were saying, okay, that's a national number. What are the individual local markets, doing?
Yeah.
Another bright spot was permits, building permits, I think was up 5%. I don't know if that was year over year or if that was month over month, but it was up 5% in terms of permits. So you had starts, right? You have permits that turn into starts that turn into completions, and completions were down, of course. But this has to be expected though, to some extent, for what's going on and the uncertainty and, allowing the market to kind of.
Why I love you, Ricky. It doesn't matter what negative headline we put on this screen. this guy will find the glass half full. You're like, it's down 12%. He's like, yeah, but in the Northeast, it's up 7%.
But I speak straight truth, straight facts.
But that's honestly, Ricky, from day one, I don't know how many years ago I started following you. You find the glass half full in everything you look at. And I really do genuinely respect it more now than ever in a time where there is so much negativity out there. And to your point, Briggs, Yeah, construction's down. Of course it's down. Look at where interest rates are. Look at where hard money lending is. Look at the cost of construction. Look at what the cost of lumber's gone up. I mean, obviously, if I put myself in a developer's shoes, look at the policies, the laws, the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Developer, whether it's a house, an apartment building, an industrial, it doesn't matter. Your ROI's gone down. Like you have to steal something now if you think you're going to make $5 on it, like quite literally.
And the thing is, it's like, what are you going to do?
Correct.
Right? We're like, okay, we got to increase inventory. We have to, build more houses or whatever. Like the private sector builders have to do it based on, profit. And then, okay, well, the U.S. government's sitting here. Why? I mean, what's the answer? Nobody has figured out the answer to this. So we're just kind of sitting here at the mercy of the privately held builders to kind of help us get there. And they're like, well, I'm going to pull back a little because interest rates and, the markets and geopolitical. It's like, what is the answer to this?
I can't help but notice that. I can't help but notice that Governor, President, Congressman, Mayor Haber has not piped in here, knowing that this is a political topic.
I've never seen the guy be so quiet. I've never seen him.
I was letting you guys. I didn't want to steal the spotlight, and I wanted to hear you guys your comments. So look, you're all right. So the problem is this. The private sector is not going to build. They think they don't have their pants down, I think is what you said, Ricky. And James was like, no surprise, interest rates are too high. So why would they put their necks out and build more housing? But at the same time, we have a supply crisis. And if you don't build more housing, it's only accretive and gets worse over time. So we have to make it worthwhile for that investment, which means that we need, whether it's a form of tax break, credit, incentive, there needs to be public-private partnerships in order to spur more development. By the way, that's something we've done for 100 years in this country, and it can work very successfully when done right. And if we don't do that around the country, the supply crisis gets worse, which means affordability gets worse. And when interest rates come down, what happens to price? We're probably going to see price rates going to go up likely in many submarkets, which makes it harder then for those people to buy. This is actually the best time to be investing in a national housing program that adds 3 million plus homes around the country because prices will only go up.
Yeah.
Right? You're saying buy now because you're getting great deal.
Well, build now.
Build now. Yeah. I mean,
build now.
It's an inflationary hedge because you are banking on the fact that no matter what happens to the cost of goods, the price of the housing stock should continue to go up.
Well, not only that, so that's part of it, Briggs. But the other part is this: if I'm renting every year, my rent just goes up and up and up and up. But we have in this country the best financial product that's ever existed in the 30-year fixed mortgage. You get all the upside and none of the risk, right? Like if I'm paying $1,000 a month today, I'm paying $1,000 a month in a year from now. It doesn't go up. But if rates go down, what do I get to do? I can refinance, and my 1,000 suddenly becomes 900. And guess what? If rates go back up, not my problem. Like it is an amazing financial product.
You're forgetting one thing, Jason. There's a silver tsunami coming, and there's only going to be like 3 people in America in the next 15 years. So what are we going to do with all these empty houses once we build them?
Yeah, so it's a good point. So those houses, a lot of them are going to be torn down and rebuilt. And I think you're going to see, my bet, you're going to see a huge trend over the next 20 years in the suburbs of much more multifamily housing, particularly around mass transit, where there are train lines.
So I 1,000,000% agree with you. And I know this is tech forward looking, but I actually think that if you look at the last 5 years with self-driving and you accelerate that 10 more years, the concept of living in the suburbs versus living in a city is going to be that much more in demand, because really the only main priority for somebody living in the city is convenience. And I actually think that traffic will go down and efficiency in commuting will drop. So if you're banking, I think you're completely spot on. I do want to add one other point, Jason, to your political career, but just to verify here, what you're encouraging people to do is go into debt.
No, we're encouraging people to get into
I'm
home.
obviously kidding. I'm talking about the 30-year mortgage.
Oh, well, the third, I mean, what a great financial product. I mean, it's not it's secured debt. So it's
we take it for granted because in the UK,
we do.
You absolutely cannot get 30-year money. And I'm actually watching friends I grew up with having to pray that their home sells. And with a Labour government, their home isn't selling.
Right.
And rates just gone from literally 1% to 6%, and they just can't hold. And in the US, where we get 30-year money, I mean, we do take that for granted. And
yeah,
you're not wrong. Like, you can just refinance when rates go down and prices go up. Like, that is a gift that we have been given in the United States. It's true. You know?
Yeah, and it encourages home ownership over long-term renting for most Americans, and it allows them to build generational wealth in this country in ways they can't do. And actually, most of the world, they can't do this.
Right.
Correct.
That's right. I mean, I will tell you, when I put my agent hat on and I'm speaking to my buyers out there, and they're like, oh, but rates are so high. I'm like, you're going to buy now for 70 cents on the dollar. You're going to pay that 6% loan. You're going to refinance, please God, in a year or two, and the property value has gone up. So you choose, because one way or the other, you're going to actually rise to the top if you buy now versus.
Yeah, and you could even look at it like this. Even if you don't refinance and rates go down and you refinance, okay, your mortgage rate's higher than rent right now, okay, but it's locked in.
Yeah.
What's rent going to be in 10 years?
Right.
You've still got the same payment. What's rent going to be in 10 years? That's my question. Like, what is rent going to be in 10 years, 15 years?
Well, that's part of the inventory problem. If you don't solve it, like New York City, for example, if they don't add inventory, New York's rent, for a studio is going to be $15,000 in 10 years. It could be more than that, actually.
Let me ask you.
That's not inaccurate. Let
me ask you both. Who's building in New York right now? Sorry.
Well, hold on. Wait, Jason, before
I'm winding up.
No, I know, but that's a teaser to the next topic, which is on the bottom. But before we jump, we got to answer a question. We have a good comment here in the chat commenting about, and we're all going to agree with this, but the fact that homeowners insurance needs to be reformed because it's killing deals all over the country.
And it's a scam.
It's a scam.
Yeah, straight up.
Imagine being in California, guys, where half of it just burned down. I mean, insurance is killing deals left and right. It's insane, and I don't know how. I mean, my own home, three carriers have canceled my plan. My insurance has tripled.
And I can tell you, in less drastic areas, obviously Florida, California, for natural disasters, extreme risk. But out in Long Island right now, carriers are dropping waterfront left and right, even if you're within 1 mile of the waterfront, because their algorithm is going off saying Long Island's due for a hurricane. And so I agree that there needs to be reform, because the fact is you are banking on a natural disaster, but then you're backing out of it before it hits, or you're backing out of it after it hits. There has to be some way to tie in so that people can't constantly have these drastic changes, because it's so dramatic that it equates to almost, the mortgage payment. And we've got to figure that out. So unfortunately, to your comment in the chat, we agree with you completely. We'll wait for Jason to be in office to solve that problem.
And speaking of Jason being in office, we have some great video from yesterday that let's take a look.
He's getting way too much airtime, this guy.
Where's the mayor? Where's the administration? Why do they get to phone it in? Why are we out here and they're not going to be?
All right. First off, congratulations on not pulling a Howard Dean. Well done.
No screaming. Loud, but no screaming.
Very good, Jason.
That was the assignment yesterday. Yeah. It's funny. I posted something on social. I showed how I take like my notes, like I had like prepared text, but then on the morning of, I changed it entirely. And one of my last ad libs was, I wrote, it was dog day. It was really hot yesterday. It was like 100 degrees and we're baking. So I wrote, it was a dog days of August, but I crossed out dog. I made it docs. So docs days of August. And then the Post picked that up. That was like docs days of August. but it just shows you how something goes from scribble to putting it into the news cycle.
He's so creative.
Aren't I?
Honestly, beyond
so
your,
witty.
beyond your creativity, I don't know how you were in a suit. Good for you, because that
It was not easy.
that
That wasn't just a suit. That was a statement piece. I mean, that was
suit and tie, may I add?
Yeah.
A suit and tie.
That looked almost three-piece. I don't know if you were wearing a vest underneath.
But for we had 7 cameras there. I knew it was going to live on, and we would have to,
I could see the little piece though where it was a clip-on tie.
Yeah, it was a clip-on tie.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
So Jason, what actually happened yesterday? Since none of the administration actually showed up, but several of the city council members did, and they really were trying to take the administration to task. So what was the end game of yesterday?
So the council agreed with us, which was great because we didn't know where this was going to go. We weren't there to talk about the pied-a-terre tax because they didn't pass it. It was passed by Albany, the state legislature, but they have oversight over the implementation, which has been totally botched.
Right. I mean, they sent all those letters out to the wrong residents.
13,000 people subject to the tax, but the city generated a list of 959,710 names that you could download.
It's unbelievable. It's bigger than most cities in the country.
And the response was, well, we've had it online since the 1800s. Well, you know what? In the 1800s, they didn't have Excel. They didn't have computers. Right? But here's what we did. We figured out how long it would take to download the entire list using the city's tax system. And we actually did the math on it. It would take, if you work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, it would take 15 years or 489 Scaramucci's, depending on how you mark it, to download the list. So instead of having a fraudster like sit there in somewhere in God knows where they do this stuff abroad and download names one by one, the city gave it away for free, searchable, sortable, downloadable list. So all these scammers now can just send out fake letters pretending to be from the government. They can use a basic online API to reduce the list down to those who are over 80 years old and target seniors, a lot of them on fixed incomes if they're retirees, and say, you're on the list, pay $50 to get off the list and make it look like a government material.
Yes.
How many of those will go for it?
That's the same scam that everybody deals with car insurance after you buy a new car. And they've now made that front and center for every single person on that list. So
that's the first thing. The second thing outside of that list is they put the onus on the citizen to say, no, I shouldn't be on this list. Eric, I don't know if you have the other clip that I sent where I talk about this in chambers. If not, it's okay. I'll explain.
I've got it covered. Stand by.
Yeah. So as they're pulling that up, the idea is that the citizen has to fight it. Now, imagine if you've ever worked with someone who has to upload material to their Social Security account, it could be an entire day before they figure out how to do it. And that's Social Security, something they use in their lives constantly. Imagine a new system that they've never touched before and having a senior defend themselves and uploading their materials to the city. Most will have to hire attorneys, which will be an additional expense, which is unfair. So I don't know if you have the clip. Otherwise, I'll just...
I just sent it to him. Well, I don't know how quick it can go through, but we'll try and get it up.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the idea is that this should be inverted, where it's if government wants to tax, okay, well then figure out who should pay the tax and send them the damn bill.
It's madness, guys. Absolute madness.
It is madness. So
the good thing was the council agreed. Those who were there agreed. Even those that are supportive of the tax agreed with our position that this is a botched rollout. I think the question, though, is what can be done about it at this point. And by the way, you saw how hot it was. We showed up. The mayor didn't. The mayor's administrator. They submitted written testimony. They didn't want to sit before the council.
Is the burden on the individual instead of on the enormity of government? Why is it guilty until proven resident?
that is the best.
Pretty good. There.
Amazing.
That's a phenomenal one-liner. Unbelievable.
So Danielle and our team wrote that guilty till proven resident. I want to give her all the credit in the world. That's her line. But it's been picked up. Some others have used it. It was on CNBC the other day. It was on our signs. If you see the
That's
photos behind me, it's a great line that she came up with. And yeah, that did land. It did strike a chord.
So
Yeah,
Jason,
no doubt.
before the next topic, why don't you give everybody a little bit of insight into ARA's recent hire? I know that's on the list, and I feel like this is a good place to do a quick announcement talking about it.
So we were super excited to bring on John Blunt as our chief lobbyist in DC. Federal lobbying is something that's important to us. We haven't done it yet. As I tell everyone, it's an awfully big country. And we are growing, but there's a lot of territory to cover, and we got to go brick by brick here. And we felt we were now ready to make a move in DC. We've been active in policy fights now around the country, and we'd like to do so now in DC and fight for our agent, our community, and for affordability and housing policy in Washington. So Briggs and I and Mauricio had a call. We were like, we can have, there are plenty of lobbyists out there. We want, who's the best? Like, who's someone who's experienced with housing policy, who has allies on both sides of the political aisle, who's known inside the Beltway? And when you do that and you make those your requirements, there literally is only one name. That's it. In the entire world of lobbying, there's only one guy that checks those boxes, and his name's John Blunt. And we spoke to him. He was excited. He knew about what we were doing, which was amazing. And I'm still amazed when people I don't know tell me that they know about ARAs. It's kind of wild.
Well, I mean, it's everywhere, dude. You know what I'm saying? And what's really cool and amazing and just phenomenal to see is that years ago when you guys announced this, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you're gonna, be the next NAR, yeah, right, kind of thing. But then to actually see how much of a real deal it is and how you guys are actually getting our voices into Washington, D.C. and into Missouri legislation and into, the different MLSs. And it's almost like we're just seeing this right before our eyes. It's just this unbelievable feat that everyone wanted, but no one really understood how to or could figure out how to do what you guys are doing. And it's just amazing to see the fortitude behind the fact that you guys just won't stop. Right. And you just keep building and you just keep building momentum. And, the strength of the organization is growing so fast now. Like, where do you see this going over the next couple of years in terms of just ARA? I mean, it's just turned into something that I don't think anybody thought was possible. No, I mean, now
we have a long way to go still, but I'm really proud. We opened up membership 2 years ago on August 15, 2024. We launched membership. That was really our starting point. It's only been 2 years, and we really had no idea. We don't have a post Remax, post Compass number. We were 30,000 before. The reason is we're switching over right now to this new back end. So we have so much incoming, our system can't manage it properly. And we have franchise owners enrolling their whole franchisees, which is screwing up our member count. But it's rapid. I mean, as I'm sitting here, I can tell you just in at least 30 people have joined ARA just since 11 o'clock this morning Eastern.
And we even have entire franchises and stuff, but also MLSs.
Well, a local is we are talking to some associations who are interested, which was we didn't envision that. We'll see where that goes. But
we even have a group from another country.
Yeah,
that we're probably going to be announcing, which is exciting. We didn't really think outside of the borders, so to speak, but they're
Can you say what country?
No.
But I can tell you right now that their group, which they are hoping to do a mass enrollment, is I think it's over 25,000 people.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool the interest, because
we'll just go to these other countries and advocate for agents in these other countries. I mean,
the hope would be we find people that could do it on our, on the country's behalf. I don't think Jason and I are going to Canada, Canada or Mexico or Europe anytime too soon. But the reality is, I think we've seen very clearly that the same issues exist in other countries.
Question, guys. This is just me being a novice here. Your membership includes Remax. Does that mean it includes Real, or is that TBD? I saw Compass, obviously, but
TBD.
TBD.
Amazing.
TBD.
Very, very interesting. Well, I think we need to get Mauricio Umansky to Washington and put him on the stand, because we wouldn't want to see Mo debating him.
That would get great ratings.
I think that would be
Great ratings.
hysterical and wonderful all at the same time.
Well, James,
So
what a
thing I
great
wanna add-
segue with you mentioning about
Yeah.
Real, because our last topic is, oops, it's not showing. There we go. The Real shareholders approved the Remax acquisition. And I was literally just there at Opryland in Nashville watching this unfold.
Big
Right.
day. Yeah.
More consolidation in our industry. You know, it's like as an agent, I wake up on Monday waiting for Inman to release who bought who and who's consolidated where. And so there's no surprise to me here. I mean, I kind of, when they announced the deal publicly, I always assumed it would go through and get approved by shareholders. I've read somewhere along the lines there's a few disputes, lawsuits that need to be put to bed, but I mean, this is as good as done as far as I'm concerned, or from what
Yeah, they voted on it this week, and they approved the acquisition. And so, unfortunately, it means Chris Lim is now out. But I know that they just hired one of my good friends, Michael Altnew, that I've worked with in several different companies, as the new head of luxury for Remax.
Nice. I mean, look, I think Remax, Real, it just becomes yet another combined powerhouse, right? That's what's happening. The industry is just shifting fast.
Well, you have a company that's basically the only way you can buy scale now is to buy older companies with a lot of debt. And that's how you're able to buy market share. Just like with Compass number 3, buying number 1 anywhere to now create this huge superpower number 1, you have Remax that was number 4 being bought by number 7 Real to create the new number 3. Now that this has
I
been
have a question
approved.
for you guys. I have a question for you guys. Genuine question. I'd love your opinion on it. Okay, you got all these conglomerates buying each other, number 7 buying 3, 4, 5, whatever it might be, right? Is there still a big market for a true boutique? That's my question.
Well, I think so.
I absolutely think so. For starters, thank you for not saying 6 and 7, because that would have PTSD for anybody with kids out there. But no, I absolutely think that there is. I truly believe we're actually about to see kind of the next wave of boutique.
I agree.
Meaning you have to be top tier. I don't think that the small, like 20-person boutique is going to be so successful. I do think that 250-ish headcount boutique is really prime for success. I do think the Real Remax acquisition is interesting because Remax historically was such a brand reliant company. And that's truly a family. I mean, Eric and myself can attest to going to some of their conferences. Their loyalty behind that brand is as deep as it gets. Whereas Real is not really a brand. Real is a support mechanism and more of an app technology, back end system. And so I'm curious to see how those two marry. I think what's probably going to happen is that although Remax is a series of franchises, Remax will continue to function basically like their own brand through Real, no different than how agents do it at Side, for example.
Well, I was just about to say, all real estate is local,
happen.
right? all real estate is local. So you're able to get, as you have the expansion, you also have the contraction. Side has now opened up their technology to anybody coming on. You don't have to become a Side agent any longer. I should say earlier this month, they're now allowing you to purchase this and run their back of house system.
I had read that. That is interesting. I mean, it's an open source brokerage. But while we continue this, before we come to an end, if anyone has any comments in the chats, throw them up. We've obviously answered or commented on a few, but throw some up if there are any last minute things you want us to talk about. But one piece I did want to add on the advocacy for ARA, Jason, that we didn't comment about, but John, interestingly enough, was one of the main people to help write the 1988 fair housing laws. And so pretty interesting because his career then shifted into general advocacy across the country. But now he's coming back to where he was, 30 odd years ago. Yeah. Any other comments? Ricky, what do you think about the real Remax?
I think it's just way too early. They're shuffling around their leadership. It's going to take some time. The deal's not completely closed. It's definitely going to close.
It's definitely going to close.
But it's going to be it's going to take like 3 to 5 years, to really see what they do with this. Because honestly, the way I see it, the two kind of needed each other. Right. The two kind of needed each other. Right. They're at a point in the market where, and the point in each of their, the life of the company that they kind of needed each other. And so they kind of came together, I think, at the right time. What they do with it from here is yet to be told. I'm rooting for them. I was a Remax guy for 10 years. So
I'm curious, Ricky, because you were both you were Remax, but then you were EXP. So this sort of mirrors the EXP and Next Home acquisition, because you have 100% brokerage purchasing of a regular franchisee. So do you see that as well as being a good move for them?
I think they're going to run it like Briggs said. They're going to keep running Remax like Remax is running. They're going to run Real like Real's running. It's almost like the Anywhere brand. Yeah, it's almost like the Anywhere brand. You got all the different brokerages under that umbrella. The consumer doesn't know that these companies are connected, and they all kind of run differently with their own different, splits and rules and etc. So, but I think that what's interesting is what Remax needs from Real, they're going to get. Technology, modernization of their processes. And I think Real's going to get from Remax what they need, which is like more brand recognition. Yeah. More scalability. So I think it's a great thing. Like, I'm rooting for them. I think it's a great thing. If it actually comes to fruition, they put the right people in the right seats. That's what I'm kind of watching. Right. So, everybody was wondering, like, what is Remax going to die? Because like there's this brand with all these new modern brokerage models coming out, and they just lost a lot of steam, especially when it comes to stock price and valuation.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I did speak to Michael Altnew, who was part of Coldwell Banker. So he was part of the whole Anywhere system and understanding. And he's like, listen, this is no different than an Anywhere purchase where you can run multiple franchise under one owner.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
Eric, in closing, we just sent you a hot off the press that we need to throw up for comment, as if we hadn't seen enough of Jason's face. Here is yet another article showing his face from The Real Deal. But while we wait for you to throw that up, let's all comment. We had a comment in the chat in regards to the thought of a 35 to 40-year mortgage. I'll kick off my response, and then we'll take it to the group. So when Trump was trying to push the concept of a 50-year mortgage, here's the thing. The problem with extending and the genius of the 30-year mortgage is that the average home buyer initially was younger. It's actually gotten older and older and older. But if you continue the trend that we're on, where buyers are getting older and older, the problem is if you extend out of that 30-year window, you end up with somebody that theoretically is not paying off their house until post-retirement. And so it could either force them to extend retirement or potentially make it impossible to retire. Think about it. If somebody gets a mortgage at 40 and they're on a 40-year, it's not going to be closed out until 80. And that's assuming they don't refinance, which most people at some point do refinance and extend. So my issue with extending outside of 30 years is that most likely it would have negative implications on retirement and when people pay off. So
I think that is a very, very small percentage of people. I think what's a house that you buy today worth in, say, 20 years? Okay, if you're actually going to keep it for 50 and you're trying to pay this thing off, and you're like, what's it worth in 20 years? Is it going to be double the price? Yeah. Is it going to be worth double? I mean, you can easily refinance that into, a 30-year, a 15-year, a 20-year, whatever. I don't know. I don't see what the point is. Honestly, you're going to decrease the mortgage payment. All that's going to do is increase prices. I guarantee you, if that would have went through, this is what would have happened. The mortgage payment would have went to exactly what it is now. Prices would have adjusted up to compensate. right? Because it's the market wins. And you just would have seen prices escalate. I don't think it would have solved the problem. I think it would have been a bad move to do it because prices would have jumped up. Mortgage rates would have just settled out right where they are now. And we'd have been right back in the same boat that we're in. But the people that got in early, that window before prices jump up, they would have been in great shape. But I think long term, over like a year, 2 years, 3 years out, it would just turn into a mess because prices would go up so much.
Jason?
Go for it, Jason.
No, I agree with what Ricky said. I think I don't want to belabor the. I think we have a 30-year mortgage. I don't see the need for.
I think I'm very happy with 30. Why do we need?
It's like the perfect like sweet spot.
It is. Don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's my point. Okay, good. We can move on. That's exactly.
All right. So the final article, we'll do a quick commentary. There he is. Look at that face.
Look at that. I look angry.
Yeah.
But it's the docs. You see the docs date. That was the morning of. That was scribbled onto my notes, and that made the headline here.
What a great Blazer game.
Thank you. You would know.
Not a bad pocket square either there, Jason. Don't forget. We see the details, my friend. We see the
Little
details.
thing.
Listen, this whole pied-a-terre tax rollout is bonkers. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like, I'll just put it out there. I don't know how this guy won. Sorry. I know he won, so I'm wrong because he won. But I don't honestly understand any of it. I'm perplexed. I'm lost. There isn't one person in my sphere, not one that I've spoken to, that thinks this guy is competent. So I'm completely and utterly confused, don't get it, and I'm just lost. That's just my opinion across the board. Don't get it.
So I think obviously we have covered that topic. I think we can keep it to the next one because something tells me by next week there will be another crazy circumstance that falls in the tax basis of New York. But Jason, one final question before we go. From the Ozarks, we have a realtor that is asking about the fact that of the agents that have left NAR over the past few years, are you seeing any influx into ARA or are they remaining independent? And I think you're the perfect person to answer that question as the president of ARA.
No, I mean, to get MLS access, they're almost all staying. So we encourage people to not lose access to anything that can impair their business in any way. So almost all of our agents stay.
No, I think I don't know if you missed, or maybe I didn't hear the question right. Like the agents that are leaving NAR, that's what you're asking, right? Like the agents that are leaving NAR, are you seeing those agents?
Unfortunately, just agents often don't have the luxury of choice. Where they do have the luxury of choice, yeah, we have plenty of them who are with us or they've reached out to us. Actually, I spoke to a group of them last week. It's not the typical that we see, but it does come up every once in a while.
So I think is this like that was the most political non-answer I've ever heard. Like what? What are you saying?
This comes up a lot and it gets misconstrued where we're telling people to join us and leave their local MLS, which we're not, or to leave NAR, which requires them to leave their local MLS, which we're not doing.
Definitely not encouraging that.
Yeah,
I will say we've had a lot of associations locally that have reached out to us trying to find a solution. But to Jason's point, we're not here to encourage anybody leaving MLS.
Correct.
Good way to leave the conversation, guys.
All right, gentlemen.
Chatting with all of you.
Thank you, everyone.
And this has been a lot of fun. Good to see you guys. Sorry I had to be on just a podcast. Hopefully I can actually see you in person sometime very soon.
Yeah, James, come to the East Coast. It's been a while.
I would love to, mate. And keep doing your thing, guys. I love watching from afar, and thank you.
Have a good one.
See you guys.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
You get everybody.